Hey everybody, this is Chris, and we're going to talk about two quads from two different manufacturers, and that is the FIMI X8 Mini and this big bomb surprise. I shouldn't say bomb, we're not going to call it a bomb. This big surprise that Hubsan has dropped on us today with this video showing that they're releasing something. We don't know what it is. They gave us a really good teaser. It's very vague. And we just know in 2 weeks we're going to get the release or the preview of what this thing is. So we're going to talk about both of these. Most of the talk will be about the FIMI because the FIMI is the first batch has sold. It sold out in within 5 hours. When that next batch is should be, I think, closer to June, and then the Pro model is going to be coming out in June. So that's what we're going to talk about. What is the Pro model and what is the standard model? What is the orange model? What is the white model? What am I going to do? And then we'll touch base on what we think this Hubsan release is going to be. The biggest thing with the Hubsan release is I'm just going to mainly ask, what do you think it is? Because there's really not much to talk about with it. But we are going to touch base on it. So in the comments, let me know what you think this Hubsan, this big Hubsan release is. So that's enough of that. Let's just go straight to the FIMI website and let's start the discussion on the FIMI X8 Mini. Okay, so here we are directly at the FIMI website, and I'm going to just go through this real quick. I just want to kind of express why I would say wait on purchasing this quad. It's a brand new concept for FIMI. We all know how these type of things go with these, budget quads and these new type releases. It's kind of the same story for FIMI and Hubsan as far as when they release these products, how long you have to wait, how small the batches are, so many unanswered questions. And the big thing is the big feature package that they advertise, and then when we take delivery of it, we find out half of these features don't exist yet. They don't work. So that would be one reason right there to kind of wait on this quad. It's not very expensive. $319 is what the first batch sold for. That batch sold in within 5 hours. But if we look here at the website, first thing you notice is you have an orange option and a white option. There's one reason to wait right there. Currently, the only option right now available was white. That was in the first batch. There is no exact written in stone date as to when we will see the orange version. The only thing they're really saying is the Pro version will be released in June. Now, I personally do not think there is a difference between the standard version and the Pro version of the quad itself. I think it's the exact same quad. This is just my guess. But again, nothing has been confirmed 100% from FIMI on this. People might say different things, and that's all I'm doing right here is just giving you my guesses. The quad, I think, is exactly the same. I think the only difference is the batteries themselves. You have a standard battery and a Pro battery. They're not calling the quads a standard quad and a Pro quad. Anytime they mention standard and Pro, they only talk about the battery. And that is to get you within, under that 250 grams or over the 250 grams. So currently, right now, all you have is the option to buy the standard version, which is a lithium ion. That's a better battery in the view of many people, their opinions, and I tend to agree with that. I would prefer to have the lithium ion over the lipo, and that's going to put you over that 250 gram class. If you have to be under that 250 gram class, then you're going to have to wait till June when the Pro battery version comes out. So if you look at the size of these batteries, the actual physical size, you'll see the standard is smaller, the Pro is larger. but the exterior portion that is a part of the body seems to be about the same size. So I'm thinking that you can use either one of these batteries on the same FIMI X8 Mini. So that's just my guess. I think it's strictly going to be within the battery. Why they haven't released this Pro battery yet, I don't know. They're only doing the standard battery, and that's just another reason to wait. It's a completely unknown, unanswered question. So, again, I have seen people say this or that, but I want to see concrete proof straight from FIMI or a very reputable source that can confirm that it is strictly the batteries or the quad that makes it a standard or a Pro version. So I personally want to wait for the orange version, and if that orange is only a standard or that orange is only a Pro and I can't use either or battery on it, I don't care. I don't care which battery I have. I do prefer the lithium ion, but I will take a LiPo just because I prefer to have that orange one. I've got enough of these white quads, and it's nice to have an orange one. So I like the looks of it better. So I really can't see it once it gets up and out, even though you're supposed to fly line of sight. But hey, look at this range. So that doesn't speak line of sight to me. So you look at these two batteries. We'll run down to the specs real quick, and then we'll end with the gimbal, and that's the most important things I think right now with a FIMI type quad when you're discussing it. So on the battery specs, here we go. The flight time, 30-minute if you're flying in a windless environment at the speeds of 6 meters a second. That's with the standard battery. That's the version that's available right now. So we go to the Pro battery, it's only 31 minutes. So you're not buying either battery for flight time. It's 31 minutes with the same flying in the windless environment and at the speed of 6 meters a second. So there's no difference in flight time. Pretty much you can just say 1 minute. We're really probably not going to notice that or see it. It's all about weight. So I think again, I'm going to say, I think that is what the difference is between the standard and the Pro. It's strictly within the battery. The biggest question is, can you use either battery in the same quad? So, is this a standard model in the white and then the orange being a Pro model? That's all to be determined. So the next big thing I want to go on to is the gimbal. The gimbal, as you all know, if you have owned a FIMI X8 SE or a FIMI X8 SE 2020, the gimbal is the issue. Looking at this gimbal, I am happy. I think we might actually have a winner here. I'm not going to be the one that says this is going to be fine. We just don't know this till we get it. But if you notice, it's got the more centered, stable type gimbal versus what we have with the FIMI X8 SE and the FIMI X8 SE 2020, where it's more of the offset, where the weight is more dependent, or not dependent. The weight is balanced off to one side, which puts a little more force on the gimbal motor. So that's what gives us that crooked horizon that we're all used to. So looking at this gimbal style, I'm going to say, I hope they address this situation and that we do not have any type of crooked horizon. I think that's probably the biggest thing everybody who's made this purchase so far, or who's looking at it and waiting, I think that's the number one thing they're looking for right there, is how is the gimbal? Because we all know the gimbal for the FIMI X8 SE versions have been plagued with that crooked horizon. Mine personally has been fine. Finally, it's 100% fine if I'm flying in a slower mode I get into a sport mode or in windy conditions, then I get that crooked horizon whenever I take turns and abrupt movement. So that's pretty much all I really wanted to cover here. The rest of the specs, you can look them up. They're all your standard specs. We do have the same type of, when I say standard specs, I mean your standard specs that we're kind of used to today. Maximum 30 frames per second and 4K, blah, blah, blah. But I am happy to see they did go with this type of controller, just like we were used to with the FIMI X8 SE versions. I do really like this controller, having your device centralized, and it does open up pretty far to where you can even put in a small tablet. So very, very good that they went with this type of controller, and it's always been a good performer. So I'm happy with this controller. So look at the specs. You can see all the camera specs. You can see their new image transmission system that they're advertising, which is the newly upgraded, they call it TDMA image transmission system. So you can go through and read all those kind of specs. I just don't want to drag this out any further because we still have the Hubsan to talk about. So let's leave this. And now the Hubsan big news. So you're watching this video today, which means yesterday. Hubsan released this little video snip clip of a release coming out on the 24th of this month. So take a look at it real quick. I'll play it real quick in its entirety. It's just a small little thing, and we'll discuss what we think this might be. So take a look. Okay, so that's it. I'm gonna give Hubsan a big thumbs up on being so tight-lipped and not leaking anything. We have not heard any rumor or seen anything prior to this video. At least I haven't, and my community of people that I interact with. This is a complete surprise. The timing is about right, but it's a surprise. So the fact that nothing is leaked with this thing, it's only going to be about 2 weeks before we find out what this is, this release or preview, whatever it turns out to be. We don't know what it's going to be. A lot of speculation floating around out there. A majority are leaning towards this being some sort of mini. That seems to be the big popular thing, to chase the DJI Mini and the DJI Mini 2. So FIMI's done it. We've already seen that. We discussed that prior to this. And now is Hubsan going to be jumping on that train as well? Will we have a Zino Mini, X4 Mini, Hubsan Mini? What are they going to call it if it is a Mini? Or did they go on and just dive into something completely different? I don't imagine they've jumped into the FPV like DJI did. They've already tried that with the two quads, the Storm and the Jet, and that didn't turn out so well. So maybe they're getting back into that. We'll find out. But all we have is that little video snip to go off of, and the rest is all guessing. I am sure there will be some sort of leak between now and the 24th. Somebody within Hubsan always snaps a little picture, and that ends up floating around in social media, whether that's planned or not. Usually I think those things are planned to create a buzz. But with Hubsan, it usually seems to be something from within. You see the same thing with DJI. It's usually a picture taken from within the factory that slips out. So I'm sure we'll see something before the 24th. Stick around with this channel. I'm going to stay on top of the FIMI. Definitely going to stay on top of the Hubsan, with this being all brand new, just put in front of us today. And just stay on top of it and see what we got. I will tell you, I am not jumping on to buying either one of these right away. I'm going to be the reviewer that comes into it a little bit late, and but I will be the most knowledgeable reviewer because I've waited. I've watched everybody else do their reviews. I've watched them do it wrong. I've watched them give the wrong information. I've watched those who do it well and those who give the right information. And then I get the quad, and you're going to get the correct content from me. So I'm going to be the one that comes in a little bit late on both of these. For the FIMI, I am definitely holding out and waiting for the orange model. I don't care what battery version that turns out to be. Whatever orange model is available first, if I can get my hands on it, I'm grabbing that one. And then the Hubsan, I can already tell you whatever it is, I'll probably buy it. I like the drama that unfolds with Hubsan. I like working on their quads. I've got a Hubsan help and support group. A lot of my channel is Hubsan tutorials, so I think I should stay on that type of content, and still try to be that go-to guy for your Hubsan how-tos and things like that. Plus, I fix them for everybody. I fix those and FIMIs and Mavics and you name it, I fix it, except for the Skydio. I work on all sorts of quads. So somebody's quad is showing up here at my doorstep every single day, pretty much, for me to repair. And I need to stay on top of the Hubsan so I can repair those. So I will definitely be buying whatever this is. Just hope it is budget friendly, because let's face it, all their quads should be budget friendly. So that's it. That's all I have to say. Just stay tuned. We know there will be more to talk about on both these quads. And if you're new to my channel, make sure you subscribe and hit that bell for future content and notification. And I'll catch you on the next video. Peace and love.